Japanese Internment in the United States during World War II by R.A. Spangenthal Lee for TEL 313, Sunday, December 7, 1941, 7:55 a.m., Honolulu, Hawaii. What starts off as an otherwise ordinary Sunday morning has suddenly turned into or become a 3-hour ordeal of blood, fire, smoke, and death as the Japanese Imperial Air Force begins its attack on the U.S. Navy's Pacific Fleet headquarters at Pearl Harbor. The attack has caught the U.S. completely off guard, and in it more than 2,400 U.S. servicemen and over 100 civilians are killed. Despite the devastating blow that this attack deals to the U.S. Navy, it is softened by the fact that the 2 aircraft carriers stationed at Pearl Harbor are away on maneuvers, as well as the maintenance and oil storage facilities being unhit, which will allow Pearl Harbor to be put back into action within a matter of weeks. On Monday, December 8, 1941, the U.S. Congress convenes in an emergency session. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt calls December 7th a date which will live in infamy, and a declaration of war on Japan is issued. On December 11th, Japan's allies and the Axis powers, Germany and Italy, declare war on the U.S. The U.S. joins World War II on the side of the British and the Russians to form the Allied powers in the fight against the Nazis in Germany, the Italian fascists, and the imperialistic militarists in Japan. In the days after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the U.S. is gripped by anti-Japanese hysteria. This is particularly true in the 3 western states of California, Oregon, and Washington. The fear in these states is that if the Japanese invade the U.S., then all persons of Japanese ancestry, regardless of citizenship, will assist the Japanese military in an invasion of the country, and thus began calls for internment of all people of Japanese descent. In February 1942, President Roosevelt issues Executive Order 9066. This authorizes the military to establish defense zones all across the country. The Western Defense Zone will consist of the western 2/3 of Washington, the western third of Oregon, the entire state of California, as well as the southern third of Arizona. Beginning in April 1942, all people of Japanese ancestry who live in the coastal areas are ordered to leave their homes and go to internment camps in the interior of the country. The time allocated for their evacuation is brief, often no more than a few days. Many people have to sell their possessions for a fraction of what they're worth. Others have to store their bigger goods where they can, as they can only bring with them what they can carry in 2 suitcases. Of the 120,000 people of Japanese descent who were rounded up for internment, 70% of whom were American citizens, thus making the act very unconstitutional. There are 10 internment camps in the American interior, located at Gila River, Arizona, Granada, Colorado, Heart Mountain, Wyoming, Jerome, Arkansas, Manzanar, California, Minidoka, Idaho, Poston, Arizona, Rower, Arkansas, Topaz, Utah, and Tule Lake, California. In December 1944, in the case of Korematsu versus the United States, the Supreme Court rules that the exclusion process is legal. However, it also rules that the detainment of loyal citizens is not legal. On January 2, 1945, the exclusion order is rescinded and the internees begin to return home, although the war with Japan would rage on for another 9 months. Many Japanese came home to find signs such as this one in the picture above. Others came home to find that the places where they had stored their material possessions had been looted. Others came home to just absolutely nothing at all. Many Japanese moved to Japan at the conclusion of the war, which ended in 1945. The U.S. government since World War II has admitted that there was never any security threat from the Japanese, although it took many years and much hard work for the Japanese community to receive an apology from the United States government. In 1948, Congress passes the American Japanese Claims Act, authorizing the Japanese to seek reimbursement for any property damage due to internment. In 1988, President Reagan signs the Civil Liberties Act, which authorizes payment of $20,000 to each surviving internee, as well as an apology to the Japanese community. In 2001, the camps are made historic landmarks.